So in Ireland we have this odd habit, it's odd, it's not completely normal for us, but very unusual for people who aren't Irish, that when we're asked how we are, well, we ask each other how we are without waiting for the answer, and you actually answer the question with the question, how are you? How are you? And that's it. That's actually it. You respond to how are you with how are you, and no one actually answers. Then maybe a German or an Austrian, or people who kind of have more attention to detail, come along and they're asked how are you, and they say, well, actually, this morning I got up at 8:30 and had breakfast, and then the guy who asked the question didn't actually want to know the answer, and actually hasn't really time to listen to what you had for breakfast and what your plan for the day is, and is wondering why you've just engaged in a conversation when I only asked how you were. So. We do this all the time. It's just a very Irish thing to say. So I've noticed this because I've lived with people who aren't from Ireland. They point this out, that you guys, you ask how everyone is all the time, but no one answers. I noticed in myself recently, just because of the way the summer was, that when I was asked how I was, my answer would generally actually be, well, look, busy. And then I was talking to someone else and I asked them how they were. And they said, oh, you're just really busy. He was another priest. And when I heard him say the answer that I normally give, I thought, it's not a great answer. Because while it's true, I mean, we're busy here, and while the priest I was talking to is also busy, just when I heard, again, it's just sometimes when you see someone do back what you do, it makes you think about your own behaviour. So he just said, yeah, we're just really busy, lots going on in the parish. And I thought, I think as priests we can do better than that. I think as people we can do better than that. Because busy, if we just say busy, that can have quite a negative connotation. It just means, just frantic, just doing the next thing, and then when you've that done, just do the next thing, and when you've that done, just do the next thing, and then there isn't actually time for enjoying anything. There isn't actually time for taking stock of what you're doing, and most importantly, there may not be time to take stock of who you're doing it for. Because I find in myself, like, when a job's done, I'm on to the next job, because the next thing has to be done, because there's a list. There's a list of 20 things at any moment of things that have to be done. So, but if I only focus on that, if I only focus on the things that have to be done, focus on the next thing on the list, if anyone asks me how I am, I'll say, yeah, I'm busy. But the focus is wrong. The focus then is on the work. The focus is on the list. The focus is on the activity. And I think for all of us, it's so helpful. I think what the Lord wants for us in our daily activity isn't that we necessarily do less. The things that have to get done have to get done. You can't say, when your child is there, your 1-year-old sitting in a nappy, well, look, I think I've done enough for today. I have to pray. Your nappy may be full and soppy and sagging, but I must pray, So at times, yes, you just have to do the next thing. But. Who are we doing these things for? Can we not just do the work, but sanctify our work? Sanctify what we do. So turn our day not just into a list of tasks that have to be done, but turn our day into a list of privileges. So Lord, I get to do these things for you. I get to pick up my kids from the swimming pool, and I get to bring them here, there, and everywhere, and we get to live in this beautiful house. And yes, there's 101 things that need to be done, but we get to live in a beautiful place. And a house is never finished. A house is always a project. Same way here, Holy Family, like, this place will never be finished. It's a constant work in progress. It's a constant project. But we have the privilege of working here and doing what we do. We for those of you involved in ministry or anything like that, we have the privilege of helping people and guiding souls. And part of that, helping people and guiding souls, for us here, means cutting grass and doing dishes and cutting hedges. That has to be done too. That's how we serve. But the bigger picture is, who are we doing it for? Who are we doing it for? Because if the focus is the work, I think it takes the heart out of us. It discourages us. Because the work will never be finished. So you're constantly striving, and it's like trying to catch falling sand, or it's like trying to load the beach into your little bucket. It's just, it's never going to be finished. It's never going to be finished. So if the more we focus on the work, the more kind of hopeless it gets, because why bother? And I've met some people, just 2 people yesterday actually, who after a life of work, a life of working, they've retired and they sold the house. So the house that they were, constantly working on and constantly building up and constantly extending and constantly fixing and getting the plumbers in and the decorators and the whole lot, all the kids moved out. They worked for another couple of years. They hit 65, 66, whatever it was. They retired and just said, Jane, this place is too big for us. Sold it. Bought a smaller house out the country. So at times, we're putting all this effort and headspace and time and stress about getting the colour palette for this room right, and the curtains must match the carpet, and the carpet must match the clock, and the clock must match my watch, and everything must be coordinated and symmetrical, and then when it's all done, let's sell the house. You know what I mean? Like all the effort, what are we doing this for? Whereas if we're spending our day saying, Lord, I do this out of love for you. I do this out of love for you. And it's still going to be busy, and there's still a lot to do, but our mentality is different, and it stops us getting disheartened. It stops the discouragement. Lord, it's all for you. Jesus came back into his hometown in our gospel today, and they didn't recognize him for who he was, because he's only the carpenter's son, isn't he? They didn't see what living with Jesus could look like. They saw this man grow up. They saw him so as a child, they saw him in his teenage years, they saw him working with Joseph. But they were blind to see what was right in front of them. They were blind to see, even on a very low level, just the virtue of the man, and the intelligence of the man. Because there was always something very special about Jesus. So if nothing else, he was a very, very honest, hard-working, good man. And you would hope then that with the eyes of faith you'd begin to see a little more. He's holy. So he's good and he's hard-working and he's holy. And now miracles are happening. So not only is he a good man, hard-working and honest and holy, but is he a prophet, or is he... to jump to the Messiah might have been... That's a big step, because they were waiting for one Messiah for generations. So to expect it to be him would have been a big step, admittedly. But to recognize his virtue, and to recognize his goodness, recognize his sanctity, and maybe even believe that he's a prophet, but none of that. They did not believe, and so he worked no miracles. So letting Jesus into the everyday, the ordinary, everyday things of our lives, recognizing his divinity in the ordinary, everyday things of our lives, sanctifying our day and the ordinary things of our lives, means that our whole day becomes an honor and a privilege. We get to do this for the Lord. And at one point, yes, we have to leave it all. So in the meantime, what value has it? What we have done out of love for him. So we ask the Lord today to take our focus off our busyness and our focus on him. Our focus not just on the work of the Lord, but to put our focus back on the Lord of the work. Amen.